Hi, Epic Recaps here, and today I am going to explain to you a 2022 action thriller titled The 355. If you want to be spoiled, keep watching. The movie opens in southern Colombia, where crime boss Elijah Clark meets with a local drug lord Santiago, and his son Geronimo, who presents him with a superweapon that is capable of accessing networks and computer systems all around the world. They demonstrate its capabilities by controlling a plane flying overhead. Impressed with the weapon, Clark and his goons kill Santiago and Geronimo in an attempt to take it for himself, but police soon raid the area, forcing Clark to flee. Luis Rojas, a Colombian DNI agent, finds the drive containing the weapon and takes it. Back at the CIA headquarters in Langley, high-ranking officials learn that Luis is in possession of the drive and that he is willing to sell it in order for him and his family to get away to safety. Director Larry Marks approaches Agent Mace Brown and her partner Nick Fowler about recovering the drive. The two plan a cover story in which they are a couple on their honeymoon, but there's a legitimate attraction between the two agents. Mace and Nick travel to Paris and go to a cafe where Luis is waiting to make a drop. Their bag is intercepted by an undercover German BND agent, Marie Schmidt, who is posing as the cafe server. The pair split up and Mace chases after Marie while Nick runs after Luis. Mace follows Marie all the way down into the subway where Marie manages to hop on a train and get away, but she is dismayed to find that the package she retrieved was the money that Mace and Nick were going to give Luis and not the device. Meanwhile, Nick chases Luis through the streets, but he loses Luis and ends up in an alley where he is confronted by Clark and one of his goons, who ask Nick if he has the drive, to which he answers no. Luis heads back to his room where he is met by a psychologist and fellow DNI agent, Graciela Rivera. When she asks him about the package, he grows suspicious and after he denies having it, she reminds him that she knows him, the real him. At the same time, Marie meets with her superior, Jonas Muller, who analyzed the intel they've gathered on Mace and Nick. When he admonishes her for her lack of team play, it's obvious the two share a deep bond as she quickly convinces him to let her carry out the mission as she sees fit. Back at CIA headquarters, Mace learns from her superior Larry Marks that Nick was shot dead, and the news leaves her heartbroken. After she takes a moment to gather herself, Marks gives her his blessing to retrieve the drive by any means. Mace travels to London to reunite with an old friend, former MI6 agent and cyber intelligence expert Khadija Adiem. After sitting through a presentation of hers, Mace tries to get Khadija to join her on the mission. Living happily in London with her partner Abdul, she says she is done with the work they used to do. After Mace explains the severity of the mission, and why the drive falling into the wrong hands could lead to World War III, Khadija helps her gather intel on Marie and Luis. Agreeing to fly to Paris, Khadija tells Abdul that it's a one-time thing and will be back in 24 hours. Back at the hotel, Graciela convinces Luis to turn over the device and leaving. They're followed by Marie who's been waiting in a coffee shop. Mace and Khadija track Luis and Graciela to a fish factory, where he retrieves a bag from a locker. As they start closing in on Luis, one of his agent escorts turns on him, and shooting him, manages to get away with the bag. Meanwhile, Mace takes out Marie who is also on the hunt and the women exchange blows. Marie manages to escape and goes after the bag, with Mace close behind. Outside, Khadija follows the shooter and when she is made, he turns to run, only to get taken down by Marie. After shots are fired, he escapes on a large freight boat where a chase ensues with all three women in pursuit of the bag. Inside the factory, Graciela stays by Luis's side as he dies, and he gives her a phone that can now be unlocked with her fingerprint and tells her to trust no one. Back on the boat, the shooter manages to escape capture, and speeds off in a boat, leaving the agents behind. Afterward, when Marie spots Graciela getting in a police car, she manages to get her hands on a badge and intercepts the driver. Taken to a German safe house, Marie tells her that her agency has been infiltrated and when asked about the device, Graciela tells her she's a psychologist, not a field agent. In the same moment, Mace and Khadija barge in and accuse the Germans of colluding with the Colombians. Mace and Marie continue their standoff until Khadija points out they all want the drive and are better off working together. Agreeing to set their differences aside, Graciela reveals that Luis's phone can track the device and using her fingerprint, Khadija tracks the shooter to Morocco. When the group arrives, they track the shooter to a market in Marrakesh. When a group of rival mercenaries appear, The agents manage to take them out and intercept the device unnoticed. Khadija decrypts what is on the drive, and when Mace suggests she take it to Mark's, Marie balks, explaining that they're set up an hour away and the safest bet. She gives in. The group meets with Marks, who commends them for a job well done, telling them they have 2 hours before they fly out to their respective countries. Afterward, the ladies go out for drinks, where they bond and learn that Marie's father was a double agent for Russia and that she had to turn him in. Back at CIA headquarters, a woman enters and attacks Marks before shooting him dead. At the same time, the ladies watch news reports of multiple plane crashes and power grids being shut down in 2 cities. They realize that the drive has indeed fallen into the wrong hands and return to headquarters to find Marks dead. They search the office for the device, but when they are unable to locate it, Khadija tells them they have company. Shortly after, CIA agents barge in, and intending to arrest them, they're caught off guard when Khadija turns off the lights. The ladies get the advantage and disarm the agents before making their getaway. When Marie contacts Jonas to arrange a rescue, he hints that she's a double agent, the same as her father. Hanging up before she can be traced, the ladies head out to search for the shooter. Locating him, they take him captive and to pry information out of him, Marie shoots him in the leg. Warned that he would bleed out, he relents and reveals that the recent incidents are all part of a demonstration for prospective buyers at an illegal black market auction in Shanghai. The team heads to Shanghai and go over their plans to infiltrate the auction, which is being used as a cover for an online darknet version, with the device hidden in one of the artifacts. Khadija explains they need to locate which artifact is being used, after which she'll create a diversion for them to extract it. Arriving that evening, each agent heads to their pre-planned positions and Mace is suddenly pulled to the side, coming face to face with Nick, who is very much alive. Their reunion is short-lived when he reveals that he is working with Clark, and is there for the drive. He leaves her with his goons, but not before she manages to get her necklace back. As the auction begins, Khadija discovers that she's being hacked and losing access to the network. She has to improvise. A vase is wheeled out and Khadija reports that the bids are rolling in on the dark web. Nick appears and begins to bid on the vase as well as on the dark web. Told that if they can get close enough, she can tag the electronic signature of the drive. Graciela makes her move, throwing her clutch towards the vase and quickly makes her exit. At the same time, Nick manages to win the vase and proceeds to test the drive prior to releasing the funds. Meanwhile, Mace is in a battle with the goon, and Marie and Khadija set off an explosion in the storage room. Nick sees the commotion on the security camera, and the auctioneer is informed that the police are on their way. Taking the drive, Nick makes a quick exit. Back downstairs, the ladies are surrounded by guards with nowhere to go. The auctioneer appears and orders her men to stand down, allowing them to escape. Outside, Mace catches up with Nick but is unable to take a shot and he leaves with the drive. The team catches up with her as the police arrive. Pulling up in a limo, the auctioneer instructs them to get in and they drive away. Inside, the woman introduces herself as Lin Misheng, an agent with China who has also been tracking the drive. Arriving at a safe house, she informs them that Marks and Nick were working for Clark, and admits that she was the one who killed Marks. Telling them they'll be able to go home soon, she reveals that she swapped the drive and has the real drive. Elsewhere, Clark discovers that Nick has brought him a decoy, and has his men beat him up. Back at the safe house, the team winds down with Graciela and Khadija making calls back home. Mace, on the other hand, wakes up from a bad dream, telling Marie that she got used to being alone, which Marie can relate to. Lynn is making Mace a cup of herbal tea when Nick and his team barge in, and hold the group at gunpoint. They show them separate screens showing that his men have also located Abdul, Jonas and Graciela's husband and children, and they are all being held at gunpoint as well. Nick shows he is not messing around by having his men kill Lynn's father, Jonas, and then Abdul, but the ladies relent and give him the drive before they can kill Graciela's family. Nick and his guys leave with the drive and take Lynn with them, leaving the rest of the team behind to grieve their losses. After Mace asks her to turn off the screens, Marie somehow stumbles on a live recording and they realize that Lynn's glasses have a camera that is transmitting footage. Khadija locates their exact whereabouts, and when Marie finds a stash of assault rifles, the team suits up and heads to Lynn's location. Nick brings Lynn to his hotel and forces her to decrypt the drive while the rest of the team gets into position to stage an assault. Done with her, Nick instructs his men to escort Lynn to a holding room, and on the way, she quickly disposes of them just as an explosion is set off. Mace, Marie and Khadija drop in and engage in a shootout with the men, eliminating them one by one. Meanwhile, Graciela, who stayed behind, manages to find her courage, and arming herself, slowly makes her way to the rest of the group. In the middle of the gunfight, Mace finds Nick crawling on the floor, and discovering her rifle is jammed, she and Nick engage in hand-to-hand combat. After an intense battle, she knocks him out and heads back inside. At the same time, Khadija shoots down the man carrying the drive and Marie quickly snatches it up. Mace runs in just then, and before she can say anything, Marie is shot in the shoulder by Nick. Approaching Mace, he prepares to shoot her but a shot rings out and he falls to the ground. Mace looks up to see a shaking Graciela and tells her, "Nice shot." The team rushes to Marie as the police arrive and place them under arrest. Khadija makes quick work to destroy the drive, and when they approach Lynn, she places her hands up and requests a phone call. As the ladies get ushered out, the remaining officers discover that Nick still has a pulse. The movie jumps to 2 months later, and Nick tracks down Clark, angry that his old employer put out a hit on him. Clark states that he let 4 girls beat him, and offers Nick $100 million to let him live. Nick tells him, "No thanks, I'm good," and shoots him dead. Back at Langley, Nick is at his desk, revealed to be the new CIA director, and is told that Mace and her team are still at large. When he arrives home, he's not surprised to find her in his living room, and coyly tells her he's been waiting for her. When Mace asks how he managed to weasel his way to the top, he tells her the corruption goes further up than him and Mark's. Sharing a drink, Mace brings up Agent 355, the name the CIA gave a female agent during the revolution. When Nick says it was because they didn't know her name, she correctly tells him it's because they were afraid of letting the world know a woman was their best agent. Nick begins to feel unwell and Mace is joined by her team of lady agents. Lynn reveals he's been drinking ancient Chinese poison and Mace says, "Thanks for everything you taught me. A girl really needs a guy to explain it all to her, but I'll take it from here." Getting up to leave, she tells him that she's no longer alone. Outside, the women bid each other farewell, and when Mace says bye, Marie answers with, "I doubt it." Let us know if you enjoyed this film, and how it compares to Charlie's Angels. Want another high-flying spy thriller? Check out our next movie titled Wanted, starring Angelina Jolie.